Good afternoon. It is so wonderful to see you all here. My name is Sandy Sohcot, and I'm the director of a program called The World as It Could Be Human Rights Education Program. And so for those of you who may not be familiar with it, this is a program that began in 2006. It started during my tenure as executive director of the Rex Foundation, which some of you may know about, or if you don't, it is a foundation started by the Grateful Dead music group. And in the course of my renewing the foundation, starting in 2001, in the absence of Grateful Dead performances, given the passing of Jerry Garcia, one of the things that I did was write newsletters on important issues. And in 2006, we published a newsletter called Perspectives on Being Human, which is about the human rights framework and the idea that different kinds of efforts to make the world better, to right wrongs, to promote civil rights and women's rights or disability rights or the right to marry, that those could all be seen as united by the idea of human rights. And in the newsletter, we had the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So those of you visiting, how many of you have heard of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Okay, great. And so we set about, I wanted to bring the idea of the framework and the UDHR to life, and wanted at that time to showcase some of the great work of the nonprofit programs that Rex Foundation made grants to that use the arts in working on social justice issues, and wanted youth to be the voice. And so we commissioned an original production that was created by youth involved with Destiny Arts Center, Youth Speaks, and the Mime Troupe Youth Theater Project. And that first production that we did was called The World as It Could Be, a Declaration of Human Rights. And it was put on as a presentation right here in Balboa High School. That was our very first showcasing of it. We had a full school assembly coming in to watch this incredible production that was put on. We had approximately 20 high school youth. And we called it The World as It Could Be because one of the adults reading our newsletter, reading the Universal Declaration, said, I never knew this document existed, and yet it basically spells out the world as it could be. And so that became the theme. And what we found that led us to where we are today is that when young people learned about the Universal Declaration as adults, they got very excited about this framework. This was adopted by the UN General Assembly on December 10th, 1948. Eleanor Roosevelt had shepherded it through after the formation of the United Nations, and it is the agreed upon definition of what constitutes human rights for every single person. And the General Assembly member nations agreed that these are the rights that they would uphold for the people of their countries so as to prevent future world wars, holocausts, and any type of oppressive behavior. So young people hearing that this framework existed got very excited about wanting to be more involved in furthering those rights. And what really helped them grasp the concepts about its meaning was the use of creative arts as part of the learning and part of the expressing. And so the incredible gifts of the way Destiny Arts and Youth Speaks and the Mime Troupe help their youth through writing exercises and dramatic sculpting of concepts, help the youth grasp and embody the ideas. And then the idea of having a culminating presentation of articulating what they learned and doing more research about human rights gave the youth the opportunity to actually go through almost like a rite of passage, to have come from learning about something to then being the teachers of what these rights meant to them. And that's what would happen at Balboa. And finding the meaning of this and learning that very few people actually know about the Universal Declaration, even though it is meant to be taught in high school in California. It's in the standards to teach in the 10th grade. Yet we have learned, and I'll introduce part of the source of that information shortly, that under 10% of the US population even knows a document exists. And yet, education is meant to be the vehicle by which it's learned. And so we decided to do something about that, and with the blessings and in fact, I'd like to just point to Art Nelson Concordia, one of the teachers at Balboa at that time. We came back to Balboa and we said, would you be interested in helping us pilot curriculum that could be used in social studies and language arts classes that use the creative arts, and having a culminating presentation to teach the Universal Declaration? And Art was among the said, yes, give it to me, let's work on this. And so we piloted for 2 years with Balboa High School and Arroyo High School in the East Bay on developing curriculum, and in 2010 we published that curriculum. And in fact, John Nepomuceno, who's sitting up front, was one of the teachers. In fact, and Julie Calderon, who's here from Arroyo, at that time Arroyo, were part of our first training. And that is what you're seeing today. We've had 3 days of training on using our curriculum to integrate the arts to teach the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So the other wonderful thing is that we have been doing this institute in collaboration with the University of San Francisco School of Education and the International and Multicultural Education Department within USF. So our very first institute, which was held in August of 2010, was done at USF's School of Ed. This is our 6th institute that we're doing for the first time at Balboa, which seems only right. And before I then introduce our group, I would like to welcome Emma Fuentes, who's the chair of the International and Multicultural Education Department of USF, to say a few words and welcome you. So Emma.
Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. Sort of my time in IME has also been, is a little bit longer, but 7 years, but I've been, during my time every summer, always was involved or heard about the world as it could be, and I'm really honored to be here to see the culminating performance today. It's been an honor for us in the International Multicultural Education Department to have this collaboration with World as It Could Be, and we've seen many of our students come through the program and really begin the semester transformed by the power of art and analyzing human rights. In our program, we have, you all met Monisha Bajaj, Dr. Monisha Bajaj, but we have one of the first HRE degree programs in the country, and we're really proud of that. And we're also really proud of the fact that our students sort of embody what it means to be an activist, educator, scholar, but that's very engaged, and we value the role of the performing arts so much, and so we're really honored to continue our collaboration with the world as it could be, and excited to be here today. So thank you.
And so just to also, before I will introduce very shortly, but just to note that it has been such a privilege for me to be able to see the World as It Could Be program keep developing. And so in 2013, I retired from the Rex Foundation, handing it over to a very, very wonderful person who has been taking it over since. And I've been able to focus on the World as It Could Be under the Alameda County Deputy Sheriff's Activities League that is based over in San Leandro. And it is the nonprofit arm of the Alameda County Sheriff's Office that serves an unincorporated area of Alameda County, and I'm very proud, hoping that she might be here soon, but it is run by Hillary Sohcot Bass, my daughter, so it's a particularly special connection. And we have members of our group, we'll learn more about it later, who are from DSAL as part of our training. So what you're about to see, we have a terrific group of teachers and members of DSAL and other nonprofits that have been here together since Tuesday and learning about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, what human rights education is about. And since about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, 3 groups of the participants have been developing their culminating presentation on reflecting on what they've grasped grasped about the UDHR and its relevance. And that's what you're about to see. So I will now turn it over to welcome our terrifically talented and thoughtful participants. And when we've completed the presentation, we hope you'll continue to hang around for a little while. We'll have a Q&A with everybody, and I'll introduce you to our whole team. And then hopefully you'll join us even for some lunch. So please, shall we have, is it?
Article